Don't know why you be trying to break you. Don't know why you don't understand you. Don't know why you be trying to hurt you. Oh no, you don't appreciate you. No matter what, I go always love you. Swear to God, I go always want you. No matter what, I just wanna keep you. Girl, I'm never gonna disappoint you. I know you heard it before. You know one love anymore. I know you heard it before. You rather be on your own. I know you heard it before. Rather not love anyone. I know you heard.
Mr. Uche Ngadiuba, a lot of people know you for your work with NIDO. Can you tell us what NIDO is all about?
Yeah, NIDO, like the name implies, is Nigerians in Diaspora organization, and it was formed by Obasanjo, the president then, in 2000, and it was first launched in London, and later Atiku, the vice president, then came to launch it in Stockholm, which was at the National Museum here in Stockholm.
What year was that?
That was, I'm not too accurate about, I think that same year, 2000, because I had, my child was about 1 year old, and I took her the other day. So it should be 2002, 2001. For Stockholm, I mean, but for the inception was the year 2000 in London.
Okay, and I believe you were the first chairman of the organization here in Sweden.
No, far from the truth.
Okay.
I am the third chairman.
The third?
Yeah, and the first was Dr. Ade Rahim. Then after that was Engineer Garuba, Abdullahi Garuba.
Yeah, I know. I think I know Engineer Garuba.
Yeah. So I think I am the third, not the first. No.
Okay, but your tenure has spanned for more than 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, what happens in NIDO, there is the general European constitution that says 2 years, 4 years, stuff like that, from country to country. But what happens, and the NIDO, how could I say, inception in Sweden is we have the constitution, but when it comes to leadership, we have always flowed with success and results. When the leaders are going on and things are happening, activities are coming up, we almost like continue, and it has happened that way. You could say, if I should term it a tradition, I could say the first chairperson stayed for 8 years, the second stayed for 8 years, and I stayed for 8 years. So I left now for an interim chairperson.
Okay, before we get to that, what specifically does the Constitution of NIDO say about tenureship of a chairman?
It says it differs from chapter to chapter, but in our chapter is the same 2 years like in most places. But we had no clause that you serve once or twice. So okay. It is the House that determines. They will ask you after the district during election, okay, if you feel and the population wants you to continue, you do. So we don't fight over it here strictly on that. We are concerned about the result and the leadership. And if I should say, in comparison with most chapters where the position is something of struggle, I think in Sweden it has been something of who is performing, or who performs you lead us to greater heights. So that has always influenced the leadership, that it has never been an issue of discussion.
Okay, but a lot of people who know NIDO, or who have heard about NIDO, the first name that comes to their mind is Uche Ngadiuba. You know, because you have been the president for most of the time we're here. Some of us have been here maybe 10, 13 years, and you're the face of NIDO
No.
in Sweden.
Yeah.
But you have relinquished the position of chairmanship now.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I felt like I could say it became like a tradition that the rest stayed that number of years. I could stay longer, or if they could want me, they really want me to stay longer. But I felt since we've had it, the other stayed the same number of years, I don't think I should be able to. I don't think I want to stay longer than they did. And I think, yeah, like you said, my face has been saying so much that we need some new breed. And like the new chairperson has been along all this while with me and understands the intricacies. So we all believed that she will follow where I stopped and even add more to it with her experience. Another thing I have to say is, yeah, like me, Uche Ngadiuba, that is, I'm popularly known here among my people. But in the NIDO front in Europe, I'm being identified more as Ernest, the English name Ngadiuba. This is the same one, same person. Okay. But the difference about you seeing my face for a while does not mean there were no leaders. But I could simply say that I made, during my tenure with my executive, we made NIDO more visible by organizing the first annual, hosting the European chapter annual general meeting, combining it with a business summit, which was the first time a chapter was doing it. And that put up NIDO Europe on the NIDO Sweden in the forefront in NIDO Europe. Since then, we became a power to reckon with in the European community.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. I just want to get the information about the NIDO correct so that people who are listening to this interview will understand what NIDO stands for. So you left the position of chairmanship, but you're still an active member of NIDO.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you please tell Nigerians, what specifically is NIDO's functions for them to understand, and then who is eligible to be a member of NIDO?
Yeah, I'm happy you asked that question. The reality of the issue is, when NIDO was formed, it was supposed to be for graduates, first degree, second degree, PhD holder that were occupying the position. Every other person that had no such rank or academic status, we are all scared away that they were not qualified. That was the beginning. That was why there were few in the beginning that had those criteria that were only members. But as years went by, things changed. People who didn't have that high level of education as claimed became members because the word was professional. And when we start to define professional, I could be a professional cleaner, a professional carpenter. We are all professionals. So I think that when they became that the willingness to serve, or the passion to get involved into NIDO's activities made other people to come in. After all, myself that led for a while, I'm not a professor, I'm not a PhD holder, but I became a member and contributed my quota, which has created a big impact. That is the message that made most Nigerians demarcated themselves from NIDO, and we felt they were not qualified enough to be members. But there was one clause we had in our membership rule that we were recommending people, not because we are more superior, but we wanted people to recommend people as guarantors, that if I recommend you, Mr. A, is somebody at least I know you are not somebody that will come and fight in the meeting or be arrogant. That happened for a while, but we are not holding that strongly. People who are willing to join. But the issue is that the dues we pay annually, and we don't hold much parties like the other organizations do to enjoy, dance and drink and marry. It makes people don't feel interested to pay their dues and don't have any reward for their money. So he made that also have few membership. But that did not stop us from doing things. Like on the national days, we don't do much. We go to the parties done by the embassy to attend if they invite us. Then all we do on the Democracy Day, which was on the 29th of May until I think it's recently changed to June, we organize a seminar discussing about how forward or how much have we fared in the Nigerian democracy since 1999. And those clips are being recorded, which you can have a feel of it in the YouTube. The recordings of such activities are there. So for people to look back, how we have discussed the democratic process in Nigeria, and we produce communiques, report on what we think we have fared, and we share with the embassy, and yeah, that's what we do mostly.
Okay. Now you just made mention of NIDO not organizing events that other organizations put together. Yeah, that brings to mind a lot of Nigerians in Sweden are confused about the role of NIDO juxtaposed with the role of the Nigerian Union Sweden. Can you open our eyes as to the role the NIDO plays for the Nigerian in Sweden?
NIDO is open to all. From the word diaspora means all of us living here are diasporans. But being a member of NIDO makes you become a more maybe active. You can be active in the Nigerian Union, you can still be active in the diaspora. But this was being recognized as an umbrella by the federal government to embody everybody, including the Nigerian Union. But that does not stop the Nigerian Union from existing separately, because it was even registered in this country before NIDO was. So that does not make it superior, neither does it make it inferior. It's just that they do parties, they show the traditional cultures of Nigeria, while the NIDO concentrate on the academic and policy-making principles that don't work in Nigeria to address it as professional. Having stayed in Europe abroad, we have learned we have learned certain things that work here, which we want to transmit to our home country. So we concentrate on that, while the traditional groups like the Igbo, Edo, Nigerian, concentrate on more of the culture and welfare of the people.
So are you saying now that one can be a member of the Nigerian Union and at the same time be a member of NIDO?
Yes, and I still receive messages, mail, to attend Nigerian Union meeting, and I did attend in the past, but recently I have not attended, not because I'm against it. And members of the Nigerian Union can still be members of NIDO and go to both meetings.
Yes, that's where the confusion comes now. Say, for instance, a Nigerian has a problem. Which organization should he go to first? NIDO or Nigerian Union?
If he's a member of Nigerian Union, he could take it up with Nigerian Union. And if they cannot help him, he could approach the Nigerians in diaspora. If we can't, we can easily refer him to the embassy or any authority. But
so he has to go to Nigerian Union first?
If he is a member.
No, I mean if somebody is a member of NIDO and a member of Nigerian Union, which organization should they take their problems to?
I think I can't force anybody to take which step, but if you have an issue and you see who has more solutions to it, you can approach NIDO. We don't stop helping anybody if we can, if you are not a member of NIDO. It has nothing to do with that. Any people call me or call my colleagues in the executive of issues they have, either with the embassy, with the passport or some, and we go ahead. We don't ask you, are you a member, to help you where we can. Okay. So it depends on you who you approach and you get your result.
Okay, but any of which organization is not superior to the other?
No.
they are equal and play the same and
Role.
maybe different roles sometimes.
Yeah. But
What-
where not superiority, I'll call it, is the link of communication might be better is if you're communicating with the Nigerian authorities from here. I think if you communicate through the NIDO institution network, you might go further than you could go if you go through the Nigerian Union, depending on where you address your complaints.
Why do you say so?
Why I said so is that it's an institution. We have the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. A commission has been instituted by the federal government to take care and attend to Nigerians in diaspora activity. So if you are in Nigerian Union, approach them, you can get result. But if you don't want to approach them direct, approach them through the Nigerians, the NIDO, it will get a better effect, because the NIDO have direct lines, both email, phone numbers of the administrators of NIDCOM. So I think your message will go faster and with a recognized signature to it.
Is there a possibility of NIDO and the Nigerian Union doing things together in one and the same breath?
Yeah, there is, and it has been. There are times Nigerian Union do Independence Day party. I've been invited at least twice or thrice, and I was sitting on the high table as Nigerians in Diaspora chairperson representing the NIDO. And although some cases I didn't have cause to make any speech, but I was introduced, and I attended the event, and some of my executive did. So if they had to do some like lectures to it and ask us to come and speak on one or two topics, there are members who have the capability of addressing some issues that could have done justice to that. But the issue is that in some cases they find it very difficult to do things with maybe some seminars to it. So it's almost just party and some other speeches. But we do things together if they call us, and we equally invite them when we have seminars. Sometimes they do attend on individual basis, and sometimes as a representative.
But right now there's a feeling of one organization feeling the other organization is, taking its own role. That maybe the NIDO is trying to play the role of the Nigerian Union, and the Nigerian Union is playing. There's a kind of a superiority contest. Is that true?
Somebody or few persons can have that as their intuition or ideas, but in the reality of the case, there is nothing like that. The Nigerians in diaspora has been able to do some prominent activities, connection with the country, and the embassy has taken note of that. So most times now, they try to communicate policy or briefings from the government about changes in policy or something, and we share it among the members of the organization to make everybody know. But sometimes, because they communicate with us and we communicate to the general public, it might create a tendency, why must it be us? But let me tell you one thing, even if you go to the Nigerian embassy website, Nigerian Union's name or web address comes in before the Nigerians in diaspora, because it has been an organization existing before NIDO is more known. But everything depends on the proactive nature of the leader at every given time. Okay. So there is none that is superior, it's just who is acting relevantly at the moment might seem superior.
At any given time.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask this question from the Nigerian perspective, because everybody wants to know what an organization can do for them. there's this question of, if I have a passport problem, who do I run to? Which organization is in the best position to handle passport issues for Nigerians who feel aggrieved?
I should say Nigerians in diaspora can.
You mean NIDO?
Yes, NIDO can, but not solely. Nigerian Union members can. The issue is, if they are abreast with the policy, they can be able to guide the member that has a problem and say, do you have this or do you have? Because somebody can run to you and say, my passport is lost. Maybe it is not lost. So when you get the facts right, you can approach them as a Nigerian. But
my question specifically is pointing at the recent increment in the service charges at the Nigerian embassy. Which organization is in a better position now to take the fight for the Nigerian in Sweden, for the embassy to bring down the costs of passport renewal or getting a new passport?
Yeah, we could call it a fight, but everything is is about diplomacy and dialogue. It's just for we to confirm, both Nigerian Union and NIDO, why is the charges, and they explain. Is it high for us or not? We can complain. So it's not really a fight. It is a discussion to know how come the bills they explain. Then can we negotiate the price because it's high because of the tight economic crunch. Then that is what you can do. Both parties can do it, but I think it's a thing that should be done as a complaint and objection to the price or the policy. And it is left for the embassy to look at it, because they don't want to serve us here, make us happy or make us sad. So if they choose to make us happy, it is something they can look into and will come to a compromise. So it is nothing like who can fight the fight, but who can be diplomatic enough to present the case for the result.
Okay, enough talk about NIDO and its activities in Sweden. Let's delve now a bit into your business. You are the owner of African Living Consultancy. Talk to us about this organization. What is this organization all about?
Yeah, AfricanLiving.se is the name of my company or business. I did an business admin course in Jensen Education between 2004 and 5. On my graduation or during the course, I took up a case study of setting up a business internet web shop, because that was when the growth, the popularity of networking businesses was becoming very popular. It was at a rate of 46% rise there. So when I finished the course, I opened my web shop, which was AfricanLiving.se, supposed to be selling African-oriented home decoration. All these seat puff, this Hausa seat puff, and the mat, I still have some at home. Then these carvings, the mask,
artworks,
First Tag 77, all those things.
Yeah.
I started advertising them, and we had people who used African fabric to make this stuff to hold pot when you are cooking, and the apron to cook. So those were the things that were selling first on the web shop. And I kept going. I was getting people were buying from all around Sweden, the north and the south, and they were ordering where they didn't have African shops. And so from Stockholm too. But as the case may be, people are traveling and bringing those things. Some of them were not buying. But I must say that most of my customers were mostly Europeans. The Africans were little or none. But that went on. I didn't market it so well, because I was occupied with both this diaspora NIDO issues, Nigerian Union issues, that I left my business. But so somehow it didn't go well. Thank God I had a job I was doing that I didn't depend on that. But now recently, with my active engagements on Nigerians in diaspora around Europe, my network and my contact and my business idea has grown, that I lost a different feeling now, a different IQ and knowledge to start up a consultancy where on the same company's name but change of what do you call it, of specification of what I do. And that was the birth of this Nigerian African Living Consultancy. Like if you go to the site, I said bridging people and culture in business. You know, we are from Africa, and we have our own mentality of doing business and communicating. So the Europeans don't understand us. But being somebody who has been in Europe, understand the European system and understand my home country and Africa in general, I will be supposed to be in the middle to bridge businesses between the two different worlds, the West and the East. Being in the middle, I can explain the culture to the to the European community, and I can explain the European culture to the African community for smooth running of the business. And I intend to form like a marketplace where I could bring companies both from both ends to be like in a market where they can be able to exchange ideas, exchange clientship and their new partnership. So that is what my new phase of my company stands to do. And I must say, with my networking connection around Europe now, there is almost one or no country you could call within the next 20, 13 countries in Europe. I don't have one contact another. So I could use those networks to fetch results for people who want information or communication in those areas. So that is the way I intend to use to help both Swedish companies to be able to have a trustworthy business transaction with the African companies that they economically. It will be a win-win foreign exchange from both sides.
Yes.
So I think that will go a long way to aid people. And some of us do things without following the due process and they fail. Most Nigerians want to import food stuff, we want to run Nigerian restaurants here, but they don't go to study to understand the right forms to fill, the procedures, the conditions to meet. And when they attempt, they are rejected, and we claim to be racially maltreated. But I think the far I know about Sweden and Europe, if you produce the right documents, they have little or no reason to reject your offer. So I will be working towards providing such procedural information that is required to enable my people profit from business venture between Africa and Sweden, because it's a win for the Swedish community to enjoy African restaurant, and it is a win for my people to market their product here. You could see the Arab world, the Chinese restaurant, some other racial groups have established their presence, that there are restaurants around Stockholm and Sweden where people, the curious Europeans and Swedes, would like to have a taste. But the Africans, we are lying low on that matter. And not because we cannot or we don't want to, we don't really know how to.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I think I will be working towards providing those services to make my people
talking about restaurants. Restaurants are places where cultures can be easily marketed. But it's surprising that in Sweden there is not one restaurant that is owned by a Nigerian. Though there are Nigerians that own restaurants actually, but not serving Nigerian delicacies. Can your organization make this possible? Seek the investors that will go into this business, and do you think it is going to be profitable?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I have encouraged one or two persons who have shown interest. It is possible to do. I will not be in position to dive into a restaurant branch myself, but I'll be very willing to support, encourage, and do what I can to assist any of our people who wants to go into it. There are a few who are looking at it, but they're still scared of the intricacies and the bottlenecks. But there is nothing you cannot find out here in Sweden freely. If we could be patient enough, do the research, do the homework, it's possible. And Nigerians are increasing in the numbers here, and there are many people who know about the Nigerian Nollywood films who will be equally interested to have a taste of the Nigerian food. And such films can be shown in such restaurants for more as a part of the entertainment in the Nigerian complete entertainment world. So it's possible. I will be willing to support, but it is not something that I have as a particular plan, because I can't force somebody to do it. For me, I want it done, but I can't be doing everything myself.
I'm sorry to chip this in. I know of some Nigerians who have owned businesses in particular areas, but after a while, the foreignings, the organizations in charge of these buildings, find a way or excuses to make them leave those places because of the influx of black people in those areas. I don't know what they associate those people with. I don't know the full details of this, but I know of somebody like that. Would it be possible to organize Nigerians into forming businesses in choice locations, just like Nigerians are doing very well in UK, in America? Is it possible for them to own good businesses in choice locations in Stockholm?
I must tell you, yes, it is. But knowing from what you have said, yeah, we could feel segregated or not well treated. But there is always a solution to the problem. If we come up as a team, a partners in a group of Nigerians together as a group, willing to do a thing like that, they could make all the inquiries about what they need, present their case to the right authorities, make a complaint officially to see it work. And when things are done like that, it becomes official, and we make sure we meet up all the criteria they request to be able to be afloat. Because sometimes we start it and halfway we divert. And as soon as they find a fault, they have reason to stop you. You understand? They might not give you room for argument, or they give you room for appeal against their decision, which might cost you money and time. And most people are not patient enough to do that. They might give up. So we need to be a team. So if we are 4 of us targeting to open a restaurant, they cannot frustrate 4 of us to give up. One person will be encouraging the rest. But if it is a one man, he feels frustrated and he drops. People that businesses are closed, if they keep their records clean, such claims can be taken up. Even the embassy can help them approach the necessary authorities and ask, why are my people treated this way when they have met all the conditions? Then let them come up and defend why that has happened. But you have to do your part to be able to argue your case. But if we fail in shortcomings in the processes, their rules and regulations, then they have every reason to do what they want. If they maltreat you so much, there is no yardstick to measure it. But if we follow the protocol, I think they might be scared, and especially when we involve a diplomatic mission into it.
Okay. Can your organization encourage Nigerians to put investments together and set up businesses? And how do you hope to go about that?
Let me say one thing. There is difference between my being Nigerians in diaspora chairperson this is now a business. This is my company.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Can your
My
business is into consulting?
Yeah.
Can you do
be
this?
consulted for advice and support in the protocol to follow.
Okay.
But I cannot force people to come to me. If they come, we sit. If you go through my website, there is outsourcing business case analysis. It's gonna take a while.
And partial. There's a word used for partial consular services.
Yeah, that is another word I think I like using, because I'm not fully a diplomatic staff.
Okay.
But with what I know and cases like that, we could channel it to the right consular at the embassy and things are done. So that's what I could discuss, partial consular services. That means like advisory consultancy to things.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Your organization is there for consultancy for people who want to do business.
Yeah.
Nigerians who want to do business in Sweden
or
outside Sweden. Okay, so who are your targets? What kind of businesses are your targets, apart from restaurants and African shops?
My target crosses beyond almost all fairs. Since it's consultancy, I'm not limited to one. You approach me and say what area you want, and I will use my networking team of experts to get solution to your problem and present it to you to execute. And I could go the extra mile of assisting you on how to implement it, where if you cannot yourself. I would like have a slogan that it is not over until it is finished. That means I will be willing to guide you until I see you get through your initial problem when you approached me. So I intend to help out people in different areas, because I have a catalog of contacts for example, the defense, mining, petroleum, and one more thing. So those people are there that if you come up under that area, I could now use my contact them and say, my people or this person needs this contact for so and so issues. Then we can start analyzing and studying the issue, if it's practical or not. If it's not possible, yeah, there's nothing I could do. But where there is a way, I think there's a way, there's always a way, and there could be a plan B.
Yes. In other countries, like in the UK, in America, I use these two examples a lot. There are very rich Nigerians who can invest in businesses. You'll be amazed how rich Nigerians are over there. Do you think we equally have rich Nigerians here in Sweden?
Yeah, I don't know that much, but I've heard of at least 3 or 4. I met one only, the rest I've not met them. I cannot quantify the size of their wealth, but there are Nigerians who have money who can support, because if such a thing is done as a joint venture, it could be 3 of them that could make it big. And the problem is the problem of trust and reliability. Most of them have reached a standard that along their line they have encountered Nigerians who have failed them, and some of them are not too comfortable too. But those things are a mindset which we can approach them in a different way and stand up as guarantors to it. And maybe we could find a way out. It's possible. Yeah. It's just we have to be willing to follow the course.
Charge. Etc.